Welcome to another video in our Express Yourself in Writing coaching. Many of you have shared with me the fact that you get stuck in your writing. You really want to write, but when you start writing, when you sit down to write, you don't really know how to start, you don't know where to end, and you have either confused ideas or you don't know how to arrange the ideas that you have in your mind in order to express yourself in writing the way you really want to. I'm laughing because this is something that is very common to all writers. Every prolific and every accomplished writer, even the best-selling authors, they will tell you that they have writer's blocks. So it is not something that cannot be fixed. I have them all the time. The difference between me and you probably is the fact that I have figured out how to overcome those blocks, how to unblock them. So this is what I want to share with you in this short bonus video. If you're ready, sit down and let's talk. The way you write your book, the style that you use to write your book is very important. It determines whether you will get stuck somewhere along the line in your writing process or if you will stay in the flow and just write and write. If you will have fun writing and expressing yourself and narrating your story or whatever you're writing about in a very fun-filled way, or if you will have those challenges along the way where you experience self-doubt, where you're not very sure what to put in, where you actually sometimes want to give up or you lose the interest in writing. Sometimes you just start procrastinating, you tend to prioritize other things to find excuses and to distract yourself from the writing process. So when you get to that point where you want to write, but each time you want to write, you don't know where to start, and not knowing where to start takes you to the space where you start distracting yourself with other tasks, that it means you are facing writer's blocks. So how do you unblock them? The first step to unblock your writer's block is the style that you choose to write your book. If you're just writing a plain narrative, it may become difficult sometimes to arrange your ideas. So let me share with you the three formats or the three styles that I have developed along the line that allowed me to write easily, effortlessly, and with a lot of fun. When I wrote my third book, I had to find someone to talk to. I had to find someone to tell my story to. And finding someone to tell your story gives you the feeling that you are in a conversation with someone. You are actually narrating, and you can go into your mind and go into the mind of that person and find out what they will want to know, and then you can write from that perspective. You can write like you're actually narrating your stories to them. It is a very beautiful style. It doesn't matter. Some of us have the feeling that a letter should be a short thing. But I grew up in a generation where we communicated first through letters. There were no emails, there were no SMSs, there were no text messages, no WhatsApp, and no Snapchat, and all the likes that you have today. So we used to communicate through letters. And if you are of that generation, you may still think that a letter should be short, but you can actually write a very long letter. You can write a book in the form of a letter. So there are people who have tried this. One of them is an African author, a classical. Her name is Aminata Sofa. Her book, which is a classical today, was titled A Very Long Letter. And it's a wonderful book. Inspired by her, I wrote my third book, Shit Happens, in that format. So I picked Madiba. You will laugh. I never met him. Maybe I should tell you that the first title of that book was called Follow Me to Africa in an Unspoken Conversation with Nelson Mandela. And I later on changed the title to Shit Happens, How to Transform Your Individual Breakdown into a Collective Breakthrough, because that is the essence of the book. But in that book, which is 332 pages, I was in a conversation with Madiba. It was so much fun trying to imagine that I was in his mind and figuring out how to tell him my story. And that really inspired me to write that book in a very particular style that is at the same time very funny. you will laugh and you cry when you read that book. So it has to do with the style that I chose. I chose to be speaking to someone in the book, even though I had never met this someone, even though this someone was much bigger than me, even though I was imagining this conversation at all time. I was telling someone my story, and that really, really worked for me. I wrote the 332 pages in 6 weeks. It was in record time. And by the time that I finished writing that book, I had a lot of clarity for my life. When you read the book, you see that I went really deep. It was a soul-searching conversation that I had in that book, especially the chapter on comfortable conversations. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that the style that you choose to write your book will determine whether you write effortlessly and with a lot of fun, or if you get stuck along the way. Imagine you were telling your story to your grandchild who is still unborn. Imagine you were telling your story to your grandmother who has passed on, or your grandfather, or a good friend. Maybe you're telling one of your children or one of your best friends. So write your book in the form of a letter to someone, a conversation with someone, and you will see that could help you to really unblock those blocks and to write with more ease. Okay. The second style or method that allows me to write easily is writing it in the form of a diary. Again, if you are of my generation, you know that at some point we used to write diaries. You used to write your diary, you used to narrate what happens to you, you used to document the things that happens to you, how your life unfolds, the event, the people you meet, and those really great moments, you used to document them in the form of a diary. So if you make the decision to write in that form, you may actually take the years. Okay, you may pick 1970 and you may want to write something that happened there. You pick 1975 and that's one of your chapters again. You may pick 1980, it could be your chapter. And then you write along that line. That's like a diary. What happens to you in that year? When you read my book, Shit Happens, you also see that in one of the throwback chapters, I was doing a review of my whole life. And that actually gave me another framework that I could use to write my biography in a different way. Okay, so your CV or your resume and see through the years and see how you can structure your story along that line if you want to write in the form of a diary. Okay, that could really help you to break through some of those blocks that you're facing. The third one is writing in the form of a play. My Africa for Smart Kids book series, the first 6 books are written in a conversational form. So inside, I have 3 characters. And these 3 characters are talking to each other. It's like they're literally on an adventure trip and they are discovering Africa for themselves. It was the best way that I could choose to write that series. And as long as I was using those 3 characters, the conversation flow was so easy. In the Africa for Smart Kids book series, I have 3 characters. The first one is Ngrise. She's my daughter, and I know her so well. I can go into her mind because I know the kind of questions that she asks. She always wanted to be a detective because she likes to discover things. She likes to ask questions. She likes that. So I could go into her mind and see how I can use her to tell the story that I wanted to tell. Now, the second character is Atabong. Atabong is my son, and he is very much the quiet, analytical kind of person. He will watch things unfold, he will analyze them and tear them all apart and then come back to you with a big boom question that would allow you to think or open your mind to other perspectives. Okay. And then Prince Foreke is an adventurer. He is a savvy young man. He is the knowledge keeper. He's the one who answers all the questions asked by Atabong and Gwise. So you see what I'm saying? Using those 3 characters really allowed me to write 6 books in a very short time because they open my mind to different ways of seeing the story. So I'm here to encourage you. If you are someone who loves conversations, if you're someone who loves storytelling, you're someone who loves working with characters, you may want to use that format to write your book, and that could help you to eliminate some of the blocks that you're actually facing. So that is it for now. 3 ways on how you can unblock your writer's blocks and to really get down to writing your book in a fun-filled, effortless, and creative way. So I hope it helps you. It helps me a whole lot. If not, I'm here. Drop me a note if there is any way that I can help you any further. Okay? Thank you very much. And stay in your creative flow and have fun expressing yourself in writing.